Psst. Hey, come here. What do you call an underwater dog? A subwoofer! A subwoofer. In this video, we're talking all about the specs, settings, and applications of the QSC KS118 Sub. The QSC KS118 Sub is an actively powered subwoofer engineered for enhancing the low-frequency content of your show. It is a compact sub containing a single 18-inch driver weighing just 104 pounds and giving us a frequency response range of 41 to 98 Hz. Let's go over the physical components of the sub, beginning up top here with our subwoofer menu. The menu will display on the screen and allows us to change various settings that we'll dive into a bit later. Next to the screen is the enter and exit buttons, as well as the selector knob. These are all used for menu navigation. Our next area is the input and output jacks. The KS series subwoofers have 2 combo jack inputs and 2 corresponding pass-through male XLR outputs. The combo jacks can take either an XLR or 1/4 inch input, making them versatile for many applications. The 2 outputs function as a pass-through, meaning any signal processing we do from the menu won't affect the signal that outputs from the jacks. This is extremely useful, as we can use the same signal for our sub and top box, making cabling much easier and cleaner. This can be seen when looking at the block diagram found in our user manual. As we can see here, the signal we input to the sub through the combo jack will split off and hit the output, as well as continuing down the line for processing before making it to the driver. If you want a deeper understanding of block diagrams, check out our QSC Q&A video. The link is in the description below. Next to our jacks is the gain knob, which controls the sensitivity of both inputs. Moving on, we have the green signal LED. This indicates that a signal is present on input A, B, or both. When it is not on, there is either no signal or your signal is too low to detect. Below that, we have a red limiter LED. The limiter LED tells us when a limiter is kicking in to prevent damage to the amplifier or driver. This could occur if you are sending too much signal to the amplifier or the box starts overheating. In any case, this LED lets you know that there is a problem that needs to be addressed to prevent damage to your speaker. The last LED is the blue power light. This shows that the amplifier is turned on. The sub is powered through a standard IEC connector, with the bonus of being able to lock in any blue latching IEC cable. Great for those events with enthusiastic dancers that have questionable coordination skills. Now, let's turn on the speaker. All we have to do is make sure that the AC power switch is off before connecting our IEC cable and switching it on. As you'll notice, the screen will take a few seconds to turn on upon flipping the power switch. Now that we can see what we're doing, we can start to change some of the internal settings using the menu. I'll go through each setting and give you a rundown of all the options contained within. Crossover. The first setting option of KS subs is the crossover setting. Arguably, one of the most important changes we can make to the sub in order to increase its performance. A crossover separates incoming signals into specific frequency ranges, ensuring that each speaker receives frequencies it can effectively reproduce. This results in optimized sound quality and prevents distortion and damage. KS subs have 2 different crossovers built in depending on which top box you are using. The 80 Hz crossover is optimized for the K.2 series, CP series, and future QSC speakers. The 100 Hz crossover is optimized for the legacy K, KLA, and KW speakers. When using tops from a different manufacturer, I would check out the frequency range of the top and make your decision accordingly. Delay. The delay setting helps us account for a physical distance between speakers that enables sound from each speaker to reach the listener's ears simultaneously. This is particularly crucial when setting up multiple speakers in larger venues or installations. By adjusting the delay, the audio technician can compensate for variations in speaker placement, ensuring a unified and phase-aligned sound experience for the audience. What's nice about the QSC Sub is that it does the math for you, so you can adjust your preferred parameter to accomplish adding delay. The menu allows for input of milliseconds, feet, and meters, depending on which measurement you are used to using. Deep. The deep setting on the subwoofer is a low-frequency extension feature. It is the only menu option that is exclusive to the KS118 out of the KS series subs. When the setting is activated, the sub gets a boost to its frequency reproduction below 60 Hz without reducing the available headroom. It's important to consider the audio content of your show and the preferences of your audience when deciding on whether or not to use the deep setting. In some cases, a more neutral or standard setting may be appropriate, while the deep setting can be employed to add emphasis to lower frequencies in other situations. I'll skip the cardioid section to briefly cover the other settings we can change before diving deep into the cardioid stuff. Settings. Scenes. The scene setting allows for saving or recalling user-defined parameters. In Save Scene, a user can choose one of 5 spaces for storing all the current DSP settings. That will include things like the crossover and delay settings. Using the recall scene allows for a user to bring back any of those user-made presets previously stored. This could be quite handy if you're using the sub with different top boxes, for example. LED. This setting lets you select which of the power indicator LEDs to use. The options are front only, rear only, or both. This setting comes in handy when we start turning our subs around for the cardioid section. Contrast. The contrast setting adjusts the brightness of the LED screen. The range has 15 stops, and stop number 8 is our default contrast. Factory reset. This resets all parameters to the factory default settings. Very useful when renting or loaning out your speakers. Please note that the factory reset will erase all scenes saved as well. The last setting we are going to cover is the cardioid function. But first, we gotta talk physics. Luckily, all the hard stuff has been figured out by people way smarter than me, so just a general understanding is more than fine. In traditional subwoofers, the low-frequency sound pressure tends to spread in all directions, which we call omnidirectional. This happens because the size of the subwoofer and its enclosure is relatively small compared to the length of a low-frequency sound wave. When the waves are longer than the subwoofer size, the sound spreads equally in all directions, including to the sides and back, making it not very directional. This can cause all sorts of issues, like feedback on stage, if we have too much of the low-end frequencies spilling back onto our stage from our not very directional subboxes. Enter the concept of cardioid subs. The term cardioid in regards to subs refers to a heart-shaped coverage pattern that shows the sound is much louder in front of the sub than in the rear. Exactly what we want to achieve the directionality in the low end. A cardioid sub, or cardioid stack of subs, helps solve our problem by flipping a sub or driver around backwards to face the stage. What? Yeah, you heard that right. We reduce the low-end frequencies on stage by pointing a stub at the stage. The cancellation occurs due to the phase of the sub firing backwards being opposite of the phase of the front firing subs. This causes the sound waves to cancel out. In order to achieve this perfect phase cancellation, complex spacing and delay calculations need to be done for each different sub. Note that for the KS118, at least 2 subs are required for the cardioid effect. QSC lays out many different configurations for cardioid subs. but a few things will stay the same. You'll need to tell the sub whether it is a front or backwards facing sub. We do that here in the menu by selecting Cardioid and then choosing whether a sub is rear facing or forward facing. Note that when operating the subs in a non-cardioid configuration, off should be selected in this menu. Another important thing to check is that all gain knobs are in the same position, getting the same level of signal. First, I'll go over the layout with just two subs. Our best layout option is back-to-back. This allows for the full 15 dB difference front to back in sound pressure. It won't matter if the sub is right side up or upside down, but like I mentioned earlier, you have to tell the sub whether it's the front or backwards facing sub. If this layout is not able to be achieved due to, say, space, QSC recommends stacking the subs next. When stacked, you want the rear facing sub on the bottom and the boxes will go on their side, like shown here. In the absolute worst case scenario, we can also set them up directly touching side by side. This doesn't produce as precise of a cardioid pattern though, so it isn't recommended unless the only other option is running the subs normally. Now, for layouts with 3 subs. This is more than fine to do. However, QSC does note that the additional output you get to the front will result in the less than optimal rear cancellation of low-end frequencies. Here, we have the stacked 3-box layout. And here, we have the back-to-back 3-box layout. Just a quick note, these types of configurations are why having control over the power LED and where it displays is nice. Personally, I hate having distracting lights on my speakers that inevitably some lighting guy will ask me for control of.
Hey, can I control that?
No! Finally, I wanted to address a couple of things to consider when using these boxes out in the field. The KS118 has a single M20 threaded socket used at tables to determine which poles are safe to use with the various QSC loudspeakers and a sub. Do not use the configurations marked by a red X unless the subwoofer or subwoofers are properly secured and restrained to prevent them from leaning more than 10 degrees in any direction. Do not fly or suspend any KS series subwoofer. It is not intended or equipped for flying or suspension. Use only a flat surface, such as a floor or a stage. You also need to allow a minimum of 15 centimeters or 6 inches of clearance around the cabinet for convection cooling. Keep anything that might restrict airflow away from the rear of the enclosure, like draperies, walls, etc. Opting to place subwoofers on the left and right sides of the stage is a convenient setup, but it can lead to a concentration of bass energy in the middle of the audience area, commonly known as a power alley. To mitigate this effect and ensure a more balanced distribution of low frequencies, consider alternative configurations such as clustering the subwoofers in the center or spreading them across the front of the stage. This adjustment can contribute to a more even and immersive bass experience for the entire audience. That's it for this video. Hopefully, you have a better understanding of how this sub works. If you like what we're doing, feel free to subscribe. Also, if you have any questions on anything we talked about, throw it down in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Bye.